Hi, welcome to my channel. I decided to give a shot at having a booktube or filming videos when I want to. I already film like writing content and like post about my books on Instagram, but I wanted to film a video today on what I'm gonna read this summer. So a mix of a Summerween TBR and then just like a general TBR. So I wanted to go through the stuff that I intentionally plan on reading this summer, and we'll see what happens with that because I've already gone off track. But I have my coffee, my caramel vanilla with sweet cream, favorite concoction that I currently have going on. So I have that to fuel me, and then I'm gonna go through a stack of books. So the first, I read two. We just got back from vacation with my husband's family, so I did start a third on that trip, but I did finish two books already by Andrea Anderson. So the first one, let me heighten the brightness. The first one was written by a woman. Let me go to the title page. So this one, I loved this. It was super cute. I don't want to give any spoilers, but this is the first in the universe, and then the second one is called Melted by a Man. And I don't usually read a lot of romance stories. There's the second. So I don't usually read a lot of romance, but something about these just really like hooked me in. I first heard about them when the author Andrea posted about them on Threads, and it just popped up on my like main page, and I thought it was like a cute little, like, it was intriguing. And then I just kind of dove in head first, and I just like couldn't stop reading. I just like, gobbled it up so fast. And without giving like too much away about the entire universe, like the first one is one couple, the second is another, and the second has a lot to do with like autism awareness, neurodivergent awareness, and just disability awareness. And it was exciting to read because that's my line of work, and I'm a behavioral therapist, so it was exciting to like read the representation of that. So the romance was fun, the language, the like spiciness, like you can skip the spice if you don't want it, but there's a lot more I think in the second than the first, but it was very fun. So I enjoyed those. I flew through them, and they were like a really good vacation read. And then I started with A Vengeance by Riley Sager. This is my current read. I usually fly through his books pretty quickly. He is like definitely one of my top thriller writers. I actually pre-ordered this one, and he wrote to Casey, keep writing, and then he signed his name, Riley Sager, at the bottom. So this is now one of my prized possessions. But I am on page 101, and this was a pre-order, so it came with a train ticket, which was pretty cool. I don't know if there we go. So that was a really fun little thing. So now it's my bookmark. But this one is about a girl named Anna, and when she was a kid, her family kind of just like fell apart. She came from a wealthy family and in the like railroad industry, and slowly her mom, dad, and brother were all gone from her life in one way or another. And she concocts this plan to bring the people that are responsible for her family's destruction on board a train leading to when they will arrive in Chicago to the authorities. But before that happens, somebody's dead. Somebody's body drops, and then she's trying to solve what's happening by protecting the people that she hates, who are responsible for her family's destruction. So it's a very interesting read. And I mean, I will read anything that he writes. So all his twists and turns are always really fun. So this is a current read, and I'm sure it's already gonna be a favorite. And then I did start already Grady Hendrix, the newest of his Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. Also a very interesting read. It's about these teenage girls that are put in these homes for unwed mothers. So basically anybody that's pregnant out of wedlock, and it's in the 70s, so the times are different. And then Grady says in here at the front that this really stemmed from hearing about stories that his women in his family had to go through in real life, and that was kind of what inspired him to research all of this and see how these girls were treated. And then of course there's the witchcraft spin and intrigue, suspense, mystery, magic. So this is really good, and also just makes me, as crappy as the world is right now, grateful that as a woman, I'm not a teenager anymore, but if I was and I lived in this time, like, it gives you just a perspective on, to be grateful for what has advanced in terms of being a woman. And then this is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this one is about a girl named Mallory. She's fresh out of rehab when she takes a job as a babysitter, and she really, really enjoys it. But then slowly this little boy, Teddy, that she babysits, is drawing these really concerning images. And we love a creepy kid, and we love a creepy setting. So I was already like immediately intrigued. But the one that really gets her is he draws a man dragging a woman's body. So it's getting more sinister as time goes on. So this just sounded really interesting. It has a Stephen King accolade on the front, and it was one of those. Oh, also, this is what also got me, is there's pictures in the book of the drawings that Teddy is creating and why they're so concerning, like these. So it's a cool, like, sort of mixed media, like this one too. So I love a good mixed media. This isn't like filled with mixed media, but this, here's the one. Maybe I can't show that on camera. I don't know. Use your imagination. I have no idea if that's allowed or not, but yeah, very cool. Excited for this one. I picked this up on vacation. It's called The Bachelorette Party by Camilla Sten, however you say that, whichever way. It intrigued me because I got married last year. My best friend just got married this year, so I'm kind of in the realm of bachelorette parties. My sister-in-law just got married, so I've been in the wedding mindset for like 2.5 years. So this immediately caught my eye, and it centers on 4 girls who I think go missing, and then 10 years later, there's like a podcast happening, and this girl Tessa is about to she's trying to uncover some answers for things, and the destination that she's about to go on for her best friend's bachelorette is what I believe is the island where these girls originally went missing 10 years ago, I think it is. So it's interesting. It sounds dramatic. It sounds mysterious. There's intrigue. There's probably deception. So that sounds fun. And I think that's it for my set in stone Summerween books. And then the other 2 I have are romances / contemporary fiction, and then a memoir, which are hopefully my musts on what I read. So the next is Summer in the City by Aster. I have not read her fantasy series, but I was really intrigued by this one. I saw it in the airport and I didn't get it, but I went back to the store when I was back home and grabbed it. I ended up getting the one with the sprayed edges that have the taxis, the New York taxi cabs on them. I really also kind of want, just for how pretty it is, the sprayed edges with the New York skyline. But New York We almost went last year, and it ended up not being able to happen, but I've never been, and I'm so excited to go. And so this just immediately like hooked me in. I've seen this online like all over the place, so I know a lot of people are really liking this book, but that is on my list, and I was just immediately obsessed. It's only making me more excited to go to New York. I don't know if I could ever live there, but I really love places like that to go visit and vacation, so I'm very excited to go. But it's a fun enemies to lovers situation, and it's set in New York City. Very fun. I don't know the spice level for it, but I'm hearing nothing but like great reviews for it. So very excited. It sounds quippy, it sounds fun, it sounds delightful in every way. The next, I got on Book of the Month like a couple of years ago, but it's called Ready or Not by Cara, Bastone, and it says love shows up when you least expect it, and it's about, the main character is Eve, and basically she ends up pregnant after a one-night stand, and she was in Brooklyn. These are like my New York setting ones that I was really excited to read. But basically she ends up unexpectedly pregnant. She keeps the baby, but it causes some tension between her and her best friend, and her best friend has been trying to get pregnant for a very long time. And so I think there's like some friendship that's tested, some loyalties tested, some jealousy, but her best friend's brother ends up being very supportive, and we love like it's not Romeo and Juliet romance, but it's also like a taboo romance. He's supportive. She's surprised that he's so supportive and is curious why he's helping her so much. So this sounds really cute. And there's also just the fact that she's trying to prepare herself for having a child, growing a family, and figuring out how she's going to do all that and getting confident in that. So I'm excited to read this story. And then my last on the list is a memoir, and it's by Jacinda Ardern. I hope I'm saying her name right, but she was the prime minister for New Zealand. She was one of the world's youngest female leaders, and she was also the second to ever give birth while in office. So when it comes to leading a country, being a woman in power and in leadership, in a position of authority, owning your motherhood, owning your job, owning your success, being a leader in every type of way, I find her really inspiring. And my husband has been to New Zealand. It's one of his favorite places, so we're gonna go one day, and I'm very excited for that. But I've, over the years, seen coverage about her and her leadership, and I'm just very excited. I'm not like leading a country or anything, but as we get into like the future stages of growing our family, it's very helpful to read a woman's perspective on being in a position of authority and in a high position of leadership, because like I said, I may not be running a country, but the job that I have and I'm going into entails a lot of leadership. So I'm excited to hear her words about her life and her career and being a mom. So I'm very excited. So yeah, that is basically the gist of what I am hoping to read this summer. I've got a few out of the way. I did also just read, what was it called? I did the audiobook for We Used to Live Here by, I think his name was Mark something. I'll put it like right here. I did read that with an audiobook through Libby in the last month, and that was really interesting too. I don't want to give anything away. I think I gave that one a 4-star, and I enjoyed the mystery and suspense of it. I thought that it ended kind of abruptly, but I did enjoy that one. It definitely like kept me on the edge of my seat, and I don't usually get really scared reading books, but listening to that one, it made me feel a lot of anxiety while listening. So that was a really cool read. I don't usually experience that. So yeah, moving forward, I'm hoping to just kind of keep filming stuff. I wanted more of a creative outlet, and I can film like stuff I'm reading, different book videos, my writing. I've done like videos on Instagram for my writing processes as I'm trying to complete my first novel. So it might be fun to just document that more on here and have that creative outlet. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. And I hope to see more people in my next one. Bye.